A forgotten era has shaped Kyoto's soul. Let me show you where it still lives today. Here on my channel, I talk about the contemporary creation, the artists of today. But studying art history taught me something very important. To deeply understand the art of today, you need to know about the art of yesterday. Today, let's go back in time for a bit. 17th century. Japan is sealed off from the outside world, living through a period of peace lasting 200 years. Two figures of power are in place. The emperor, a spiritual and symbolic leader in Kyoto, and the shogun, who held political and military power and lived in Edo, today's Tokyo. This was the time of the Kanhei era, 1624 to 1644. Today, I'm taking you to see three major locations in Kyoto where you can still feel the spirit of the Kanhei culture today. Nijojo, the famous castle, served as the residence of the shogun when visiting from Edo. In 1626, a major event happened. The emperor visited the castle, an orchestrated display of power, underlining the shogunate's efforts to maintain cultural and political ties with Kyoto. This event also highlighted the blending of aristocratic and samurai traditions. The samurais, once warriors, had their role evolved during this period and began to turn to the arts. Because there were no war, they could focus on creation and art flourished, spreading beyond the elite into society. Art became a form of prestige, necessary to have a proper place in a society where there was no war. They found a new identity, which had ripple effects in all classes. Before, the art was reserved for the higher classes, like nobility, and completely closed from the rest of the population. But during this era, the art became available to other classes, like wealthy merchants. All of a sudden, they could learn and enjoy ikebana, tea ceremony, and even poetry. That's why it's connected to today. All art forms which you think about when you think of Japan, specifically Kyoto. This era allowed for the democratization of these practices, impacting generations and their everyday life, making lasting changes until today. Ninaji Temple represents the spiritual and artistic patronage of the imperial family, particularly retired Emperor Go-Mizunoo, who revitalized Kyoto's cultural landscape during this era. Kyoto's aristocracy, though politically weak, became cultural leaders. The warrior class, despite holding power, relied on the aristocrats to gain the refined knowledge and traditions needed to enhance their status. Kyoto's culture flourished as Japan's cultural heart. Arts began to spread beyond the elite, reaching the merchant class and even commoners through public displays and festivals. This era bridged the gaps between classes, making art a shared experience across society. The temple embodies the synthesis of aristocratic and Buddhist traditions, showcasing the influence of the era's aesthetics in its gardens, architecture and treasures. During my visit to Ninaji Temple, there was a design exhibition going on. I could not help but notice how the modernity of the elements blended harmoniously with the ancient architecture. These chairs and tables are here in a place designed for higher classes, refined. Today, we get to admire them, experience the space, and be inspired by those elements. Just like an artwork in a museum, it can have a different meaning and experience depending where and how it is exhibited. The environment impacts the work and our reaction to it. If you are wondering why design is such a place, temples are constantly evolving and finding ways to persist through time. We were lucky to know more about the services they offer to the public, like exhibitions, private tours and tea experiences, or even dinners. How lucky we are today! These places are preserved and keep inspiring us, with their guardians preserving them for years to come. Kitano Tenmangu Shrine is dedicated to the god of learning, Sugawara no Michizane. The shrine houses about 100 swords, donated there as he was also known to be a skilled martial artist. The era saw a decrease of use of weaponry since it was a peaceful era, but the sword-making craft kept going and got even more refined. Making a Japanese sword, a katana, an art form in itself, requires 11 different artisans, each with a unique skill set. Learning about these also gives us a different perspective on time. One sword takes on average 3 years to be produced. In a world of constant evolution and fast-paced creation, here artisans and their patrons still value an ancient process, detailed, handmade, precise, passed down from generations to generation, and only 20 people can still make them in Japan. Travelers come from all over the world to see Kyoto, to feel the past of Japan and experience the traditions kept for hundreds of years. This era shaped Kyoto in a major way, also because new creation was at its center. It was not about redoing the same patterns and images as before. It was about inventing, experimenting. The Kanhei era of Japan is a short period of history, which happened almost 400 years ago. Walking in Kyoto today, you can feel the heritage of this period all around you. The connections and productions extend over so many practices, both materials and conceptuals. But I do hope this short journey in Kyoto gave you a small introduction on this period of Japan, essential for the arts, and inspired you to learn more. And if you already know Kyoto, see it in a new light. Art is and has always been in our lives, and connect us in ways we sometimes cannot even imagine. If you haven't already, make sure you give a thumbs up to this video and subscribe to the channel. Also, you'll find more info about this topic in the description box below the video. I will see you guys next time to see more art in Japan. Mata ne!